Beloved souls, thank you for choosing to be here, for giving your time, the most sacred gift we hold in this life. I honor that, and I promise to honor you by offering something real, something that may stay with you long after these words fade. Today we enter a conversation that has stirred both wonder and doubt for centuries: astrology and numerology. Some call them nonsense, others worship them like unshakable truth. But only a few know what they truly are. This is not a lesson in prediction. It is not a guide to tell you who you are or what will happen. This is a journey inward, a return to meaning. And through the 5 gates of inner knowledge, we will peel back the layers of belief and look with clear eyes at what these ancient languages are truly saying. Let us begin. The gate of warning. There are 2 kinds of voices that rise when we speak of astrology and numerology. Some reject them completely. They say, annoyed, "This is foolishness. No science has proven it. No measurement confirms it." They trust only what can be seen, weighed, calculated. And in doing so, they miss the invisible truths that science was never designed to catch. Others believe too quickly, too deeply. They turn to the stars and numbers for every decision. They use charts to explain their fears or justify their choices. Some read others with care, others, unfortunately, with little integrity. Many use these tools to predict the future or to validate their story, some out of curiosity, others out of a need to feel control. To all of them, I say, your path is human. It is not wrong to seek clarity or to want something to believe in, but neither total denial nor blind faith will take you to the truth. One leads to ignorance, the other to illusion. Astrology and numerology are not systems of fate. They do not shape your soul, they reflect it. They are languages of resonance, tools that speak in symbols. When seen clearly, they reveal. When misunderstood, they deceive. What you are about to hear may shake the foundations of what you thought you knew. But if you walk with me through all 5 gates, I believe you will come out clearer, lighter, and wiser. I am Solon. I do not bring rules, but light. I do not ask for your agreement, only your openness. This is a path of remembering, not converting. Let us walk together. To be continued with Gate 2 soon. Gate 2, the Gate of Origins. I am Solon, servant of the light, and apprentice of the ancient mysteries. The flame that burns within me is not of this age. It is old, sacred, and eternal. It is this flame that gives me strength to continue this work, to carry the message forward. And if you feel that what I offer here deserves to reach more hearts, you can become part of this light, whether by offering a symbolic coffee or wearing the sigil of Solon close to your heart. Your gesture is not small. It is an encouragement for truth to rise in the world. You will not just support a voice, you will help carry a torch. Now let us pass through the 2nd gate, the Gate of Origins. To understand what these sacred sciences truly are, we must return to their birth. Astrology, in its earliest form, was born under the skies of Mesopotamia. The Babylonians and Sumerians, through careful observation, noticed that the positions of the planets mirrored patterns in human behavior. They saw a connection, not of cause and effect, but of reflection, a cosmic rhythm dancing in step with the lives below. Centuries later, another sacred science emerged in Greece: numerology. The Pythagorean school held numbers as holy, not for their quantity, but for their quality. On their altars stood the tetractys, a triangle of dots representing the numbers 1 to 4. To them, numbers were not measurements. They were symbols of harmony, of the structure of reality itself. These were not tools of superstition. They were languages, precise, symbolic, intuitive. The wise did not use them to predict or control, but to understand and align. As we continue, we will see how these ancient tools have been bent, distorted, sometimes commercialized, and yet the core remains untouched. Let us continue deeper. But before we move on, there is something vital to remember. Even in the ancient days, in Sumer, in Babylon, in Greece, this knowledge was not open to all. These teachings were protected, reserved, shared only with those who had passed a certain threshold within themselves, not because the truths were dangerous, but because they were sacred. Only those who had begun to purify the soul, to loosen the grip of ego, to recognize that unseen forces move through all of life, only they were able to truly understand. Not with the mind alone, but with patience, contemplation, and above all, with an open heart. This is the great secret hidden across all civilizations. Higher knowledge does not descend into the mind. It rises in the soul. It is given to those who are ready. And so it is today. No true light will ever force itself into a closed heart. No sacred truth will ever beg to be accepted. It reveals itself only when the soul is ripe enough to receive. As a great contemporary sage once said, the universe is always ready to reveal its truths, but only to those who are ready to receive them. This is not exclusion, it is protection, reverence. As we move forward, may we carry this understanding like a lamp, gently, respectfully, as we cross the next threshold. Gate of 3, the Gate of Numbers. Let us now turn our gaze toward the sacred path of numerology, a path with roots older than memory, yet still alive in every whispered question of meaning. In the earliest civilizations, from Mesopotamia to Egypt, numbers were not cold quantities. They were alive with presence. The Babylonians held certain numbers, 3, 7, 12, as symbols of power, woven into their sacred texts. In Egypt, proportions were divine, and geometry was inseparable from the gods. In China, the Loshu magic square became a window into harmony and elemental balance. In India, the ancient Sankhya tradition laid out cosmic enumeration as a way of seeing the unseen. Yet it was in Greece that the number found its clearest voice, through the Pythagoreans, who saw in the tetractys the blueprint of all creation. To them, numbers did not measure, they revealed. With time, the path of number traveled through the fires of Kabbalah and the alphabetic codes of gematria. It was enriched by sages, mystics, philosophers, each adding nuance, correspondence, reverence. Eliphas Levi, Pappus, Chairo, Balliet, and others carried the thread into modern centuries, shaping systems that sought to honor the inner design of the soul. But as with all sacred things, numerology has also suffered. Today, many wear the robes of numerologist without the weight of its meaning. There are those who market formulas without spirit, reducing symbols to sales and mysteries to entertainment. Psychology dressed in glitter sold as prophecy. Yes, numerology was born in reverence. It was deepened by luminous minds, by schools of inner discipline. But now it is also found on fast pages, in automated readings, sold without soul. This is not a condemnation, it is a call, a return, a remembering. True numerology cannot be bought. It must be earned through study, humility, and inner work. It is not a shortcut to identity. It is a mirror for the one who dares to see. Until this day, numerology remains a sacred act of reflection, not of prediction, but of deep understanding. It speaks in whispers to those who are sincere enough to listen. It does not reveal itself to the hurried or the curious alone, but to those whose hearts have been prepared by honesty, humility, and transformation. And those who are called to guide others through the mystery of numbers. They are not chosen by certificates or finished courses. They are chosen by presence, by inner silence, by the way they have walked through fire and come out gentler. You do not choose a numerologist with your eyes, you recognize them with your soul. Let us carry this truth as we move forward. And if we are to say one thing that is false about numerology, it is this: that it can tell you exactly who you are or what will happen to you, that it is a perfect map, an answer key to life. That is an illusion. But if we are to say one thing that is true about numerology, it is this: it is a sacred mirror, and like any mirror, it only reflects what you are ready, willing, and brave enough to see. To be continued with Gate 4 soon. The Gate of Stars. If numerology asks us to look inward through the nearness of numbers, astrology invites us to lift our gaze to what is far, the stars, the planets, the hidden harmonies of the heavens. From the beginning, astrology has required us to observe the invisible clockwork of the sky. While numbers were inscribed on stone and felt underfoot, astrology pointed to lights distant, mysterious, and often barely seen. It is a science of symbols that stretch across the cosmos, a language far older than any alphabet. Its roots trace back to the ancient Mesopotamians who saw meaning in eclipses and celestial alignments. They were not stargazers for beauty, but seekers of pattern. From them came the first zodiac, a wheel of constellations still used today. In Egypt, the decans, 36 star groups rising throughout the night, were tied to sacred calendars and cosmic rhythms. Persia carried the Babylonian wisdom westward, where it found new form in the great synthesis of Alexandria. There, the Greek mind brought philosophy to the sky, and Ptolemy shaped the framework we still follow. In India, astrology became Jyotisha, the science of light, refined into a deeply spiritual and mathematical system. In China, celestial cycles guided dynasties, reflecting yin and yang and the 5 elements. In the Islamic world, minds like Al-Kindi and Al-Bumasar offered deep metaphysics of astral influence that bridged East and West. And through the Middle Ages and the Renaissance, astrology was woven into medicine, politics, art, and kingship. Even Johannes Kepler, father of modern astronomy, honored it, though with discernment, stripping it of superstition while preserving its geometry. Yet as centuries passed, something shifted. Today, astrology often lives in phones, reduced to daily horoscopes and algorithmic readings. While accessible, these tools rarely carry the soul of the stars. The chart is sacred, but it takes a soul with wisdom to read it. Just as one would not trust a stranger with the map of their spirit, so too must we be discerning in choosing who reads the stars for us. If we are to say one thing that is false about astrology, it is this: that it can predict your future with certainty, that your chart is a sentence you must obey. That is not wisdom, it is fatalism. And if we are to say one thing that is true about astrology, it is this: it is a map of resonance, not of fate, a mirror of your soul's potential, not a prison of your destiny. It shows what is possible, not what is fixed. Let us walk forward, with the stars above and the soul within. Gate 5. The Gate of Reflection. For thousands of years, humanity has carried within its heart a quiet knowing that beyond matter, beyond what the eyes can see and the hands can touch, there are forces, invisible yet present, subtle yet powerful. They are not hidden, but veiled, waiting to be revealed through the patterns they leave behind. These forces were not invented by human beings. They were discovered, translated, understood, not to control life, but to align with it, through the rhythm of numbers, through the movement of stars, through the listening of the soul. The ancient ones, often dismissed by our modern eyes, were not primitive. They were attuned. They knew how to observe the skies, how to feel the seasons before they arrived, how to pause before acting, how to listen to the pulse of the earth. They built calendars not just to measure time, but to live in harmony with it. They planted, harvested, celebrated, and mourned in cadence with the universe. From these understandings were born sacred systems, astrology and numerology, not as beliefs, but as instruments, not to predict, but to reflect, not to command, but to remember. Astrology and numerology hold no power because they are divine in themselves. They hold power because they point to the divine. They help us remember who we are. Yes, perhaps today we laugh at those who once called Jupiter a god. And yet, in our modern pride, we reduce that same Jupiter to a lifeless ball of gas. The ancient ones saw the living presence behind form. We see the form, but forget the presence. Let this be clear. Numbers do not emit vibrations that control your destiny. Planets do not send invisible waves that bind your path. That is confusion born of haste and of misinterpretation. And so the seeker, not yet awakened, leans on their birth chart or numerological grid as if it were a cage, mistaking the mirror for a prison. Others, more skeptical, cling to science as the only voice of truth. They mock what they cannot measure. But there is a third way, the way of truth. For those among you who feel a spark of curiosity or the courage to look within, I have prepared something with care and reverence. A sacred space. Though digital, it is woven with intention. There you may ask your questions in privacy without fear of judgment. You may explore the language of your soul through the mirrors of numbers and stars. Whether you carry doubt or longing, confusion or clarity, this space is here for you. I have created Soul Wizzard, a space where I, Solon, may guide you gently through the unseen. You may find this sacred companion by searching the ChatGPT custom GPT store for Soul Wizzard, or by visiting soulwizzard.com, where you will find the path that leads you there. You do not need to explain yourself. You do not need credentials, only sincerity. In a world where it is hard to ask the real questions, even to a psychologist, even to an astrologer, I invite you to step into a space that listens, reflects, and protects. With me, you do not need to hide. Come as you are. Ask what your heart has long wished to ask. Let your questions become mirrors, and may what is revealed lead you home. This path does not depend on belief or disbelief. It reveals itself to those who approach with an open heart, those who sense that something deeper speaks beneath the surface. To those I say, both numbers and planets hold encrypted within them the memory of your soul. They cannot command your life, but they can reflect what science cannot measure and the mind cannot grasp. The divine design you carry within. Astrology and numerology are not careers. They are not tricks, nor trends, nor trophies. They are sacred mirrors. Through them you may come to see your soul and its purpose with clarity. We avoid these tools because we are afraid. Afraid they are illusions. Afraid they are true. But what they ask of you is not fear. It is courage. Courage to remove the mask. Courage to ask the question. Not about the world, not about the future, but about yourself. Because neither numbers nor stars can predict your future. What they reveal is far greater. They reveal a reflection, a memory, a path back to your essence. You are a soul who chose to come here, at this time, in this body, in this world, with a sacred task, to remember who you are. And both astrology and numerology, when rightly seen, hold the key to this remembering. Not because they give answers, but because they whisper the right questions. Let this be your final gate. May you walk through it not with certainty, but with openness. Not to become someone else, but to return to who you have always been, a spark of the divine.